Good morning, Redeemer, and welcome to your daily word. It is Thursday, June the 4th, and we're in John chapter 11. The death of Lazarus has taken place, who is someone who is near and dear to the heart of the Lord, as well as Mary and Martha. And Jesus is going along, and he hears that Lazarus has fallen ill and that he's dead. And at one point in verse 11, after saying these things, he said to them, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I go to awaken him." The disciples say to him, "Lord, if he has fallen asleep, he'll recover." Now Jesus had spoken of his death, but they thought he meant taking rest in sleep. Jesus told them plainly, "Lazarus has died, and for your sake I am glad that I was not there, so that you may believe, but let us go to him." So Thomas, called the twin, said to his fellow disciples, "Let us go also, that we may die with him." And then on into the moment where Jesus gets there. Interesting that he would say something so shocking as though it's okay that Lazarus has died. It's actually good, because had he been there, it wouldn't have maybe happened. But since it didn't, he gets to show who he is and bring glory to himself and to the Father. Well, he goes on, and Martha hears that Jesus is coming and says, "Lord, if you had been here," in verse 21, "my brother would not have died. But even now I know that whatever you ask from God, God will give you." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." And Martha misses the whole point, or what he's actually saying. I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day. See, Martha had a theological understanding that her brother would rise one day in that final resurrection, because Jews did believe that there would be a resurrection of the dead. Even if you go to Israel today, they've buried people all over the Mount of Olives, because that's essentially where they believe Jesus is going to return, and that the dead in him, or the Messiah really, the dead are going to rise. And so, sure, she agrees that he's going to rise on the last day. Jesus says to her, "I'm the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die." Do you believe this? So he takes this moment to basically say, Martha, you're talking about a moment that's really about me. I'm the resurrection. I'm that resurrection. I'm the resurrection in front of you. I'm the resurrection power that's about to raise your brother from the dead. Do you believe that? Do you believe in who is standing right in front of you? She says, "Yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is coming into the world." Now, he goes on to heal Lazarus, not before weeping, showing a very human side of the Lord and a real emotion of how much he cared, even though he knew he could raise him from the dead. He weeps alongside, being so moved by Mary's emotion. He heals and raises Lazarus from the dead. The Jews, of course, are not excited about that, and they now plot to kill him, and they're looking for opportunities to kill him. But I don't want you to miss the thrust here again of what Jesus is conveying, and really what John is conveying through Jesus in this gospel. He is the resurrection. He is the life. Soon in John 14:6 will remind us Jesus saying, "I am the resurrection, I am the life. No one comes to the Father but through me." Or I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life, and no one comes to the Father but through me. Those ideas are parallel ideas. He is the resurrection. He is truth. He is the way. He is life. And he takes every opportunity in the midst of death and trial, in the midst of confusion, in the midst of mourning, in the midst of soon to be persecution and a plot to kill him, to do one thing and one thing alone: point to himself. John wrote this gospel so that you would believe, so that those who would read it would come to see that he is the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Martha understood that, came to believe that. And while Lazarus was raised again, yes, in this very moment, the greatest resurrection, the one that we look forward to, the point where his power over everything is proven once and for all, is the final resurrection, because he has overcome death. Death is not the end for you and I. And so today, rejoice in the one who is the resurrection. Rejoice in Jesus. I'm guilty of this. Maybe you are too. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, and it's very easy to get caught up in even doing ministry and doing life and loving your family, or going through conflict or whatever, and it can derail you away from devotion. It can distract you from what we are really here to do. In fact, ministry is great. And giving to God's work is great. And loving your family is great. And even reading the Bible can be great. But all of that is really meaningless, if I may be so bold, if your heart is not worshiping through those avenues, if it's not about Jesus, if it's not a devotion. So my exhortation, both to myself and to you, through a chapter like this is fall over Jesus. Become enthralled with Jesus. Look to Jesus. Worship Jesus. Maybe for you, you want to shut everything off today. You want to take an hour, take 2 hours, take 30 minutes, and just put the phone away and turn off social media and put even away your good works and good feelings or good looks or whatever, and just devote yourself to him. A beautiful moment for Martha can also be a beautiful moment for us each and every day as we are reminded, as we look to Jesus, you are the Christ. You are the Son of the living God. You are the center of it all.